Europe faces a critical juncture in its military capabilities. Despite being a global economic powerhouse, the continent grapples with a fragmented defense landscape. Individual European nations boast advanced militaries, yet collectively Europe struggles to project unified strength. This disparity exposes a fundamental weakness, a lack of cohesive military power on the world stage. This reality raises serious questions about Europe's ability to defend its interests and ensure its security in an increasingly volatile world. For decades, Europe has relied heavily on the United States for its security umbrella. This dependence, while convenient, has created a strategic vulnerability. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has starkly highlighted this issue, exposing the limitations of European defense capabilities and the challenges of coordinating a unified response. This reliance on the US has fostered complacency within certain European nations. The perception of American protection has, in some instances, led to reduced defense budgets and a diminished focus on military readiness. This dynamic has created a dangerous imbalance, leaving Europe vulnerable to external threats, particularly as the global geopolitical landscape shifts. The situation is further complicated by the diverse range of military capabilities within Europe. While some nations, such as France and the United Kingdom, possess formidable armed forces, others lag behind, struggling to maintain adequate troop levels and modern equipment. This disparity hinders the development of a cohesive European defense strategy and underscores the need for greater cooperation and burden sharing. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, has long served as the cornerstone of European security. However, the alliance faces challenges that threaten its effectiveness. The consensus-based decision-making process, while designed to ensure unity, can be slow and cumbersome. This becomes particularly problematic in times of crisis, where swift action is essential. Moreover, the evolving geopolitical landscape has strained transatlantic relations. The United States, under both the Trump and Biden administrations, has signaled a shift in focus towards the Indo-Pacific region, particularly concerning China's rise. This shift has raised concerns among European allies who fear a potential reduction in US commitment to European security. The war in Ukraine has further exposed the limitations of NATO. While the alliance has provided significant support to Ukraine, it has stopped short of direct military intervention. This hesitancy stems from the fear of escalating the conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia. However, it also highlights the challenges of balancing collective defense commitments with the desire to avoid a wider war. The dependence on the US for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities further complicates matters. European nations have made strides in developing their own capabilities in these areas, but significant gaps remain. This reliance creates a strategic vulnerability, particularly in scenarios where the United States might be hesitant to share sensitive information or deploy its assets. The concept of a European army, independent of NATO, has been a topic of debate for years. Proponents argue that such a force would allow Europe to take greater responsibility for its own security and reduce its reliance on the United States. They envision a unified military structure capable of responding effectively to a wide range of threats, from conventional aggression to terrorism and hybrid warfare. However, the path towards a European army is fraught with challenges. One of the main obstacles is the lack of political will among some member states. Many European nations remain reluctant to cede national sovereignty over their armed forces. This reluctance is rooted in historical sensitivities and concerns about losing control over defense policy. Funding presents another significant hurdle. Creating and maintaining a credible European army would require substantial financial investments, something many European governments are hesitant to commit to, especially given competing domestic priorities. Furthermore, agreeing on a common defense budget and burden-sharing mechanism among 27 member states with diverse economic capacities would be a complex and potentially divisive undertaking. Logistical challenges abound as well. Integrating different military doctrines, equipment and languages into a cohesive fighting force would be a monumental task. Moreover, questions remain about the chain of command, rules of engagement and deployment procedures for a European army. These logistical and operational hurdles underscore the complexity of establishing a unified military structure within the European Union. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has served as a wake-up call for Europe. It has exposed the continent's vulnerabilities and underscored the need for greater self-reliance in defense. While a fully fledged European army might remain a distant prospect, the current situation demands concrete steps towards strengthening European defense capabilities and cooperation. One priority must be to increase defense spending across the board. European nations need to invest in modernizing their militaries, enhancing their readiness, and closing the capability gaps that have become apparent in recent years. This includes investing in key areas such as cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and space-based capabilities, which are becoming increasingly crucial in modern warfare. Enhancing European defense cooperation is another crucial aspect. This involves streamlining decision-making processes within NATO, fostering greater interoperability between national armed forces, and conducting more joint exercises and training programs. Pooling resources and expertise in areas such as procurement, research, and development can also lead to cost savings and greater efficiency. Ultimately, the future of European defense hinges on finding the right balance between national responsibility and collective action. While a degree of national autonomy in defense matters remains important, greater cooperation and integration are essential for Europe to face emerging challenges effectively. The goal should be to create a more cohesive and capable European defense architecture that can act as a credible deterrent and ensure the continent's security in an increasingly uncertain world.